My recipe for onion soup with cheese is going to be amazing. I was inspired by French onion soup, the broccoli cheese soup that I've done recently, as well as my French onion soup casserole that I did. Not sure when that video will go up, but it was delicious. For those of you who don't know, French onion soup has an oniony, beefy flavor, and it's served with bread and cheese. However, not everyone likes beef, and not everyone likes Gruyere cheese or can find Gruyere cheese. So I wanted to make a version of onion soup that would be full of flavor, would use ingredients you can easily find, and would use chicken stock because, like I said, not everyone likes beef. Here in this pan, I have about half a tablespoon of oil and half a tablespoon of butter. And over here, I have one large yellow onion, one large purple onion chopped, two green onions. The bottom white parts I chopped as well. The green leaves I'm going to put off to the side. Probably use those to garnish. Another half a tablespoon of butter in case I need it. One clove of garlic. One small grated carrot. On the cheese grater, I may or may not use all of it. The chicken stock that I made, and the 1.5 pounds of chicken leg quarters that I used to make the stock. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the heat and I'm going to start browning my onion. I've melted the butter and heated the oil over medium heat in both this pan and this pot over here. So now I'm going to add my onions. I am doing both a pot and a pan to brown these onions because if you've ever sauteed onions before, you know that onions actually take a while to cook. I think that if I did it all in one pan, it would take longer. So that's why I'm going to do some in this pan and some in the pot. So here, onion going in the pot. And in the pot, I have the other half a tablespoon of oil, along with another half tablespoon of butter. So the same. I'm going to add my carrots as well. I actually may not add all of the carrots. I want this to be more of an onion dominated soup and not a vegetable soup. But I think a little bit of carrot for flavor is going to be nice. So now I'm just going to move around the onions and cook them for probably 10 minutes. The yellow onions have been cooking for about 9 minutes. So now I'm going to add my garlic and cook for 1. The purple onion cooked for maybe 7 minutes. It started to burn slightly because I got distracted, but honestly, I think it will be fine. I'm just trying to get this garlic fragrant, adding it at the end so that it doesn't burn, and then it will be time for the next step. Now that everything is in my soup pot, it's time to deglaze the bottom. I am actually going to do something a little bit different. A lot of French onion soup recipes call for sherry or white wine, something like that. But I'm going to add something very southern. Apple juice and apple cider vinegar. I'm going to start off with 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar and 1/2 cup of apple juice. Scrape up the bottom. There. I made a pork roast recently and it had apples and onions. I thought the two worked together very nicely, so I think this is going to work out as well. Now for the vegetable stock. I am going to add the vegetable stock that I made when I cooked the chicken leg quarters. I'm guessing this is probably 3 to 4 cups of chicken stock. I boiled the chicken leg quarters with celery, garlic, onion, carrot, and bay leaf, just like always. Let's give this a try. Already tastes delicious. Now I'm going to add 1 packet of onion soup mix. Like I said, I want this to be definitely, unmistakably an onion soup. Mix that in. Once this comes to a boil, I'm going to turn it down to low and let it simmer. My onion soup has now been simmering on low heat, gas mark 2 out of 6, for 40 minutes. You can see the level of the liquid has gone down probably by about half. The onions are starting to get really, really soft. The broth is definitely brown. It makes me think of French onion soup with that beef broth or beef consomme, but this is actually chicken stock and apple juice and apple cider. Although it tastes delicious, I'm going to add some spices, half a teaspoon each of black pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder, and a little bit less than half a teaspoon of salt. I might actually go with just about a quarter. No, I'll just put it all in. So I am going to eat this with cheese, so I don't think that it needs quite as much salt. If you want to just put in a quarter of a teaspoon, that would probably be fine as well. Here I have my green onions, which I'm going to chop up. The next thing I'm going to do is take the chicken meat off the bone and then add it to the soup. My oven is preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, so I can toast some bread in the oven, put some cheese on the bread. It's going to be great. I just finished taking the chicken meat off the bone. I tasted the soup after I added the spices, and it tastes absolutely fantastic. It tastes nice and oniony with hints of other things in the background. It's sweet, but still tangy at the same time because of both the onions and the carrots and also the apple juice and the apple cider vinegar. It's just so delicious and so complex, so full of flavor. It's going to be great. I'll probably add a little extra water actually. Here on my baking sheet, I have a slice of Italian bread. On top of the bread, I'm going to add some cheese. I am using cheddar, a mild cheddar. If you have a sharp cheddar, I would actually recommend that, but this is what I have. I am going to put this bread into the oven at 350 just until the cheese melts and the bread starts to toast slightly, and I think it's going to be great. And actually, I'm going to go back, spray this sheet with the bread on top, and maybe it'll toast the bottom a little bit as well. Okay, time for a change in plans. When I first started this onion soup recipe, I was going to put the cheese directly into the soup, but then I said, you know what? French onion soup, usually there's a piece of bread with cheese on top of it over the bowl. That's still hot. So that is what I did here. However, in this little bowl off to the side, I put some of the soup and then some cheese, mixed it together, and it was absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to go back to what I had originally planned. I am adding 8 ounces, or what is left over of the 8 ounces after I made that, of mild cheddar that I just chopped off the block. I'm adding that to my onion soup. It was absolutely incredible. I think that this is really gonna put this over the top. My onion soup with cheese is now ready to serve. As you can see, the cheese dissolved totally into the soup without a roux, without any flour. There's tons of chicken, tons of onions. It's full of flavor. I had a little bit more, and like I said, adding that mild cheddar cheese really takes us to the next level. This is one of the most delicious things I've had in a long time. It looks amazing. Although I kind of made up the recipe as I went along, I can honestly say that this onion soup with cheese and chicken was one of the best soups that I have ever had in my entire life. What made it so good was the deep, rich, complex flavor that was enhanced by a sweet and sour note in the background. From my research, it seems like most French onion soup recipes call for just one type of onion, so the fact that I used yellow, purple, and green onion, along with onion soup mix and onion powder, a total for 5 types of onions, I think really helped to make this delicious. Also, the fact that I made this onion soup with chicken stock was important because chicken stock has enough flavor to make something delicious, but not as much flavor as beef so as to overpower the other ingredients. However, I truly believe that the key to this soup was the apple juice and the apple cider vinegar. Then by adding the cheese, I took this soup from an A plus to an A decupple plus. The toasted bread, either with or without cheese, was absolutely great on the side. So if you make this, I highly recommend that you serve it with toasted Italian bread. Like I already said, this onion soup with cheese and chicken stock recipe was a bit of an experiment, but it turned out way better than I could have ever imagined. If you've never made any of my recipes before, you should definitely give this one a try. But if you don't, as you saw, I do have some other great recipes coming up soon, so stay tuned. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.